Welcome back to the Monday live stream, guys. I'm not taking any days off on Mondays. I'm trying my best to show up on holidays or whenever. I'm gonna just condense the nonsense, get right into what the core of what I wanted to discuss was. I'm kind of reevaluating how I'm producing stuff in my communities. Because I feel like people aren't ready to the level where I want to start them, if that makes sense. They're not at the place where they can even feel comfortable sitting down and doing low leverage, easy marketing videos for their business. And so I have to take a big step back. As a teacher, I need to take a step back and make sure that I'm meeting people where they're at. And I think a lot of it has to do with we're dealing with a lot of people that most people don't feel comfortable on camera. I don't feel comfortable on camera, but it's a skill that you learn through repetition. And I think I need to get us to the point where you're just comfortable sitting and existing with a camera in your face and communicating to the camera before we even start the simple videos of this is who I am and this is what I do. Okay. And I think that's kind of where I think maybe that's where my disconnect is because I'm trying to start everybody at a level that they're not quite ready for yet. And so this week, we're taking a big step back with the content to cash machine and focusing on just getting you psychologically ready to be on camera. And I'm actually building out course, some course materials for this specific end to get people confident to start from zero. Like I'm trying to get you to start from zero with getting on camera and talking about your business product or service. Okay. And so that's what this week is about is really getting everybody back in alignment because like I said, I feel like the challenge is I'm trying to start you a little bit too far ahead of the game. And that is not where you need to be. I feel like I need to kind of get you guys prepped and ready to be on camera before I start throwing out low leverage videos that you can do to start to baby step your way into talking about your product or service online. Okay. So the question is, you know, how many of you have been meaning to start recording yourself, but you keep putting it off? Put that in the chat. How many people have been meaning to start recording yourself, but you just find reasons not to? Because I think that's the most important part is really focusing on that. Hey, what's up? What's up? What's up? How y'all doing? All right. So good. So let's lock in on this. My goal is to start kind of walking you through a little bit of getting confidence to even turn on the camera and sit down and start recording. Because specifically, if I'm talking about business owners or people that are trying to launch personal brands or people that are trying to launch social media brands, the first step is getting the reps in to get comfortable in front of the camera and talking to the camera. I'm not 100% comfortable on camera, but I've done it long enough that I know what to do and what not to do. And sometimes videos work, sometimes they don't work, and that's cool. That's fine. More times than not, the video that you're embarrassed by won't be seen by anybody in the first place. And so it's really about getting repetitions in the first part and really getting comfortable so that we can talk to camera. And so that's what this live stream is. I'm going to be building out something a little bit more elaborate, but I wanted to kind of talk about it and give you a couple of exercises that we could possibly use today. Okay. So here's the gap I'm seeing. And my program fell into this. I assumed that everybody was ready to jump on and press record and just start talking to camera. And if I made the video prompt simple enough, I can shorten that gap and make life a little, make it easier for them to get started and really try to take advantage of the concept of creating momentum. And I guess the feedback I'm kind of getting just from people in the community or people that I interact with, they keep saying, yeah, I want to get started. I want to get started. I want to get started. And I love your prompts and I love what you do on a weekly basis, but they're not taking that action. And so I'm trying to get them past that hurdle. Okay. And so I've been given messaging frameworks and strategies and hooks and, the HPSA framework, hook, point, story, action to try to create videos and stuff. And people just weren't there at the creation point. So that's where the gap is. You're not comfortable even turning the camera on. You're not comfortable sitting there and looking at your face in the camera and listening to your voice through the headset. And that's a barrier. And so I want to kind of get you through that part of it before we even start talking about the video frameworks and the video prompts and all that other stuff. Okay. It's not a skills problem. You don't have a skill problem. There is no skills problem. This is kind of a threat response problem. This is a natural human instinct. That camera in your mind is a threat to you. because what that camera's doing connected to your phone or connected to your social media or whatever, it's putting your face out there and you're almost setting yourself up to be critiqued by an audience. And it's really hard. You're basically introducing yourself to an audience of, in your mind, an audience of millions of people, and they're all going to have harsh judgments of you and they're going to make fun of you and all the other stuff. Here's the thing I need to tell you from a business owner standpoint. And I've been doing this business thing independently for almost 11 years now. The people that are going to be most critical of you aren't people that are going to do business with you. And when I say do business with you, I'm not even just talking about buying product or service. I'm talking about the people that are going to be most critical of you aren't going to be your best members in whatever social media community you create. They're not going to be the best members of your audience. There are people that are in transit. They drift from post to post, leaving negative BS on other people's stuff, and that's their existence. They're never going to interact with you in a meaningful way that benefits you. And so that audience of critics that you're so scared of and that you're so nervous about aren't people that you're aren't people are really your target anyway. And so trolls exist to just screw with people. And if they can affect you with their negativity, then they've done their job. And by the time they make that super negative thing, they're off to another place on the internet. And so when you deal with people that are super negative in your comments or respond negatively, or you think that they're going to respond negatively to whatever content you're creating and putting out there, understand that these people are transitory. They're not your real audience. And it's sucks when you see somebody just putting something ugly in your chat or on your comments or everything, but they really aren't who you are speaking to. And a lot of times, the audience you're speaking to, they may not even engage with you the first, second, third, or fifth time that they see you, but they're tuning in to learn how to trust you. And so you got to keep showing up. All right. So you're seeing that camera as a threat response, as a threat. And so we need to kind of acclimate you to a camera existing and recording you and you seeing yourself on the screen. So that's the real step, but we need to. Okay. This camera triggers like 3 different threats at the same time. It's the identity threat. It defines who I am, right? The judgment threat. Everybody's gonna criticize me. And the permanence fear. This exists forever on the internet. Okay. And yeah, it can exist something can exist forever on the internet in obscurity. And there's a little magic feature on YouTube that if you make something that you don't want people to see anymore, you can absolutely make that thing private or unlisted and nobody will ever find it unless you provide them the link to it. Okay. These things don't have to exist forever in space with high visibility. That's just not what it is. Okay. And so your nervous system sees that camera as a danger to you and it triggers a fear response, you know? And we're getting into some kind of primal things with human beings, and that's okay. More times than not, we get locked into this. We have to defeat these feelings that we have. We have to defeat the fear that we have. We have to overcome the fear that we have. Sometimes you're scared as hell and you still go out and do the thing the whole time being scared. And that's what happens. You don't have to, the burden isn't to defeat the thing that scares you. The challenge is just getting used to being uncomfortable. And I spoke last week about how a lot of people are scared of being new. They're scared of being the novice. They're scared of not being excellent at the thing that they're trying to do off the rip. And what happens is you get so scared of being a novice or being new at something that you never execute, you never step into the world and do the thing. And then as a result, you constantly have this hamster running around in the back of your brain that's driving you nuts because you know that you should be out there doing this thing, but you're so scared of being bad at it when you first start that you never get started. That's the game. It's getting comfortable with discomfort and leaning a little bit further into your uncomfortable zone. Not stepping 100% into it, but just leaning a little bit into it, okay? So your nervous system gives you a response that this camera's dangerous, and no amount of just do it motivation is gonna make that happen, and I had to realize that. I learned that lesson with my community. You know, me creating simple video prompts was not enough. I needed to step back and address the initial threat of being on camera first and get people comfortable with the process of sitting down, recording yourself, and putting it on the internet, okay? So we're going to talk about some of the philosophy here. And here's the core principle. Confidence is not a prerequisite to recording. Familiarity is. Getting comfortable with the concept of recording is. You don't have to be confident. You can fake the confidence. I'm not trying to make you feel confident. I'm trying to make sure to make the camera a boring non-threat to you. Does that make sense? I'm trying to get you comfortable enough with the concept of a camera being on you that your nervous system does not perceive it as an existential threat to you. Okay. That's the most important thing. The confidence will come later. The confidence will come with doing and repetition and stuff. But the very first step is getting you comfortable enough to sit down in front of the camera and it not be this overarching existential threat to your person. Does that make sense? So it's making the camera boring. It's getting acclimated to it existing. When I was little, I used to be scared of dogs, right? The only way I got used to being in a room with a dog was my mom made me sit in the room with my cousin's dog, who was a nice dog. It wasn't active or anything, but I got used to the dog existing there and coexisting in the space, and that's how I got over that fear of it, okay? And so that's what we're trying to do with the camera this week. So the curriculum is not about motivating, it's getting you to retain. So I want there's going to be a couple of different steps we're going to do with getting you acclimated to actually having a camera on you and getting used to the concept of it so it's not triggering your threat response, okay? So first things we're going to remove the imagined audience, okay? Next, we're going to separate you from the output. Then we're going to desensitize your body to the camera's presence. Okay. We're going to look at getting your natural voice out there and restoring that. We're going to break the visual and auditory judgment. We're going to get you acclimated to looking at yourself without judgment and reframe what recording actually means and what the purpose of it is. Okay. So by the time you start recording, you've already done the hard part for a couple of weeks. Okay. So I want the first recording that you make to feel anticlimactic, like, okay, I was scared of this thing and it just came out. It just flowed straight through it. That's by design. Okay. So part of the curriculum that I'm going to be building out is week one's going to be about understanding the fear. Okay. It's really about leaning into being scared. Okay. So first lesson is the camera is not your audience. Camera is the camera. Okay. If you can't name the people, they don't exist. I get so many comments where it's just somebody just obviously screwing with me on these feeds. I mean, then sometimes I'll sit here and look at a zero for the entire time for the live stream. And then people come and say, hey, I watched your live stream last week. It's disconnecting from the numbers you see on the screen and the words that come across your screen. Okay. Your camera's not your audience. So that's lesson 1.1. There's going to be exercise, name the fake judges. If you can't name them, they don't exist. All right. Lesson 2, you are not the video. Or lesson 1.2, you're not the video. Okay. And so this is going to be the exercise is called bad on purpose. Okay. We're going to record something terrible and delete it to to prove that the worst case scenario is survivable. Okay. That's what it is. Just get out there and record something. It doesn't matter if it's good or bad. It's just surviving the experience. Desensitize yourself to the perceived threat of the camera being on you. Okay, so that's lesson 1.2. Lesson 1.3 is going to be the documentation mindset. It's going to be shifting from performance to documentation. So you're not performing, you're documenting your thoughts that might help someone. And so that's how we're going to be recording the video. You're not performing for the camera, you're just documenting thoughts that can help people out. All right. And so, these are the first couple of lessons that we're going to be running with in that first week. Okay. The next module of the course I'm designing is about calming your physical response to because again, you're sitting down, your nervous system perceives this camera as a threat to you and your anonymity and your safety and a lot of other things. And so it's trying to desensitize you to the feeling of fear that takes over a lot of people when they get online and start recording their own stuff. And so lesson 2.1 is camera exposure without the performance. Okay. This is sit with the lens. And this is going to be the one that um I'm probably going to prioritize and make this one of our first actual homework assignments. For the free community, sit with the lens. Turn your camera on, don't record, just sit there for 60 to 90 seconds and do it for 7 days straight. I need to get you comfortable with the concept of having a camera on you. We're retraining our nervous system. We're getting acclimated to a camera being in our face. So you don't have to say anything. You don't have to record anything. Just turn the camera on and sit there for 60 to 90 seconds once a day for 7 days so that we can desensitize you to the fear and the heart rate and all the other stuff that comes on with sitting in front of a camera. Okay. Lesson 2.2. This one's going to be blind speaking. And you're going to see all of this stuff in the paid community. And then I'm going to trot some of these out that I think have a high value to the free community as well, because I want everybody to jump into this and kind of walk through this. Okay. I don't care if you use me. I don't care if you pay for my class. I don't care if you do all that stuff. My goal is to get you recording. That's what my goal is. That's why I exist. Because for business owners specifically, social media is a huge opportunity right now, and they're begging for your content. And why not get the benefit of it? So, lesson 2.2 is before visibility. This is blind speaking. So, we're going to cover the camera and just record audio only, or just talking to your mic, audio only, no playback. Just prove you can speak naturally. Okay. In your regular voice, not in your performance voice, your regular voice. The voice that you use to talk to clients, the voice that you use to talk to family and friends, the voice that you use to talk to your students, whoever you're speaking with, your normal voice, not your performance voice. And I see it a lot. A lot of people, even really really successful people online, they have an online persona that they adopt. And that's why human BS detectors are really, really strong. You can kind of sense when somebody is performing for you. So this one is just blind speaking. We're covering the camera and we're just doing voice stuff. And the goal is to speak in your natural voice without any performance attached to it, just to prove that you can speak naturally. Okay. Lesson 2.3, speak to one person. You don't have to talk to an audience. Okay. You're not talking to an audience. You're talking to one person who needs what you have. Typically, the tweak I give is your audience is you 5 or 10 years ago. Start with that person because you're always going to be the expert to yourself 5 or 10 years ago. You have 5 or 10 years of experience in being you and living your life that they don't have. So your audience, when you get started, is you 5 or 10 years ago, or you 2 or 3 years ago. All right. That way you're always sitting in the expert seat compared to them. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. Module 3, we're going to shift your self perception of yourself on camera. Week 3 is about breaking that shame cycle that comes along with recording something and you're not as proud of it or you're judging yourself. Okay. So this one we're going to see without hearing. So first we covered the lens and did just audio. This time we're going to mute the playback. Watch yourself with the sound off. Technical observation only, just getting you used to looking at yourself through playback. Because that's one of the most daunting things. Even when you start editing, that's why I don't prioritize editing in my community yet. Because editing for people, if you're not comfortable seeing yourself on camera, it can absolutely be a barrier to you because you end up never launching the thing because you get so critical and so hung up on you get so critical and so hung up during the editing process that you are trying to optimize for an audience that hasn't even seen your shit yet. Okay. So watch yourself with the sound off, technical observation only. That is lesson 3.1, see without hearing. 3.2, or wait, yeah, 3.2 is hear without seeing. Okay. So this is transcription detachment. Okay. Transcribe your video. Only read the text. What is the message valuable? Yes. Almost always is. Okay. And there are different transcription softwares you can use. I think there's Otter. I use the script for mine. Riverside has an automatic transcription feature. You can even just turn on your phone and record it. There are phone apps that do transcription for you. Okay. And so I just want you to transcribe your video and make sure the information and see if the information is valuable. Okay. Lesson 3.3, the mirror versus the window. Okay. You watch your videos as a mirror. Your audience is watching them as a window. Okay. So it's getting comfortable with that frame shift. And so this one isn't going to be an exercise as much as shifting a perspective when we get into it. Module 4 is going to be when we start recording. So this is going to be a 4-week. This is ideally a 4-week course. If you want to bull through it, that's fine. But there's going to be 4 sections to this. So by module 4, this is when we're starting to get into the recording process. This is where it comes together. Okay. So lesson 4.1 is controlled social proof. Okay. And the exercise is going to be the safe send. Okay. Send your video to one trusted person. If you're in the community, send it to the community because that's what my community is for. So that we can watch your video. You have a safe audience that's not going to mock you or make fun of you or anything. They're just going to give you positive. They're going to build you up. Okay. But send the video. We're going to record the video, send it to one trusted person to prove that the world doesn't end. And your video can even be, hey, I'm getting on here to record my first video and I'm sending it to you because I trust that you're a safe person. Okay. Lesson 4.2. This is going to be your first real recording. Okay. Under 60 seconds, we're going to have one idea. Use the prompt. If you're dealing with blank, here's something that may help. That's it. It's going to be under 60 seconds. Okay. Lesson 4.3 is going to be the follow up. We're going to post the thing to our communities, either your personal community, or just ours, just the private and paid communities that we have for the content, the cash machine. My goal is to get you into the repetition of recording and posting, where you're kind of decoupling yourself from feeling like the judgment side of things, because that's typically the thing that gets everybody scared to death. Okay. So I do have it in my notes that we're going to do one of these exercises live. I may call audible here. Because I wrote this last night. So let's do one of these live. Let's try naming the fake judges. So grab a piece of paper, open up the notes app on your phone. Who do you think is watching who's going to be watching your recording or your live stream or whatever? Who do you think in your mind is going to be watching this? Okay. Who do you imagine is going to be watching this? You got 60 seconds, write it down and be specific. So I don't have a bunch of dead air. I'm going to get into prompt two. Um, what would they criticize? What are you scared that they're going to criticize about the video? Okay. And prompt three, we're going to talk about why their opinion doesn't actually matter to your mission. And I spoke about it a little bit earlier. More times than not, your harshest critic aren't the ones that are going to be interacting with you. They're not going to be your target audience for your YouTube channel or your TikTok channel, or they're not going to be your target clients for the product or service you're selling. Okay. And so you got to get that in your mind. And I really want you to lock in on that side of things. Sometimes these critics that you're seeing that will pop up on your stream or pop up on your feed or pop up with negative comments, they're not even people that are going to buy from you. And so seeking the esteem of people that don't respect you is kind of pointless to me. And it's something you learn. Okay. So I want you to look at what you wrote. Can you name these critics? Are they real or are they imagined? Okay. This is what we're going to be doing for 4 weeks. We're going to be systematically dismantling your fear of recording. That's it. So we're going to go into the assignments here. All right. Because we did the naming your critics thing. This is for everybody. So in the free community, your assignment for the week, whether you're in the free or paid community, I want you to post in the community. You're going to see the links in the description. You should have the links to my paid community or the free community. The paid community actually gives you more like hands-on stuff with me. I try to be super active in the free community too, because I feel like just want to get y'all recording. That's my mission for the year. Okay. And I got a couple of things that are going to be a little bit bigger that I'm going to be announcing on this live stream. I'm setting the stage for a couple of things today. Got to go out and look at some spaces. And that's what I'm going to leave that at. Okay. So the mission, your assignment for this week, whether you're in the Future Prayer community, post in the community, my biggest fear about recording is blank. What is your biggest fear about recording yourself? That's it. Just name it, externalize it. Put this thing that is in your brain on the outside of your brain and put it on paper or put it online somewhere so that we can see it. Okay. That's it. So free or paid communities in the community post, my biggest fear about recording is blank. And even if you're in the comments right now watching, my biggest fear about recording is blank. That's it. Get that fear externalized. I have ADHD. I deal with a negative inner voice all the time. The way I've gotten over dealing with that negative inner voice is to give it a persona, its own name, so that it doesn't sound like my voice being negative. It sounds like an external critic. Sometimes writing out your fear and externalizing your fear is the first way to get rid of it. The first way to not even get rid of it, to address it. Fear is healthy. Fear keeps you from doing things that harm you. Okay. The human instinct back in the days, if there was a saber-toothed tiger on the block, your fear is the thing that kept you alive. The one that wasn't scared of that saber-toothed tiger is the one who didn't live to have kids of their own. Okay. So fear is a natural human response. I'm not saying that you have to completely overcome your fear. I'm just saying getting comfortable with being uncomfortable. So free and paid communities, your assignment this week, post wherever you are, whether you're watching this live stream, whether you're in my Facebook community, whether you're in the paid community, post in the community. My biggest fear about recording is blank. Because the idea is we want to take the thing that you're scared of and externalize it and get it out of your brain and get it into the real world. For the paid community, if you're in the paid community, I'm going to have you do with the sit with the lens exercise starting today. Okay. So instead of our weekly prompt, the assignment is for the next 7 days, I want you to turn your camera on. I don't want you to record. I don't want you to say anything. Just turn the camera on and sit there for 60 to 90 seconds and breathe. Okay. That's it. And then in the community, I want you to post how you feel afterwards. Be honest. Tell me exactly how you feel after each day, each session. It only takes 1 minute a day, 1 or 1.5 minutes a day. But I want you to do this for 7 days. Turn the camera on, don't record, don't do anything. Just get used to the camera being on and you being on it. That's where we start. Not we're recording, but just getting used to the presence of the camera in your world. Okay. So I could see that people are popping in and popping out. So I'm gonna go and throw it out there. If you're not on the live stream, you're just seeing the replay of this, leave it in the comments. Now, what questions do you have about this process? Do you have any? Do you need? Do you have any questions for me about other ways to overcome your camera shyness or your fear about just turning on the camera just to get started? And so, a couple of common ones I kind of came up with, and I've heard. Question one: what if I've already been recording and I still hate it? That's a very real one. If you've been recording and you still hate it, I think it's kind of reimagining what your purpose of recording is. Okay. I don't want to say necessary evil, but sometimes that's the best terminology we can use. If you are very locked in on your purpose of why you have the camera on and why you're talking to camera, that makes life a little bit easier. And so it makes it so that you don't hate the process as much. You may never feel comfortable on camera. I never feel 100% comfortable on camera, and I live stream multiple times a week. But understand that if you're clear on what your purpose is and who your audience is, it makes life a little bit easier. So you may not like recording on camera, but if you know that it's not something that's going to destroy you, it makes it a little bit easier to turn that camera on. Okay. Question two: do I need special equipment? No. Your phone works. Phones work. Phones are great. They have a world class camera, world class sensor on them, and a microphone. That's really all you need. If you want to step it up a little bit or you want a more stationary setup, webcams are incredible. This thing cost me $70. High quality webcams are great. You don't need special equipment. You can use natural light. If you have a window that has sunlight coming into it, that's going to be some of the best lighting you're ever going to find. All right. You sit there, face the window, let the sunlight hit your face, you put the camera in front of you, you're ready to record. You don't have to worry about lighting. So you don't need special equipment to get started. Question three: how long does this process take? I made it a 4 week thing because we have a natural, like, we human beings like the number 2 and 4. So we like 2 week things, we like 4 week, we like 2 day things, we like 4 week things. All right. And so, the course that I'm creating to get you comfortable from, the sitting down thinking about starting a recording and getting you comfortable with the camera and all the other stuff, that's a 4 week thing. Okay. 4 weeks if you follow the pace, but it's self paced. So if you want to just skip sessions and all that stuff, or if there's something part of it where you're not scared of being on camera, but there are other aspects of worrying about the judgment side of things, you can absolutely skip things, but it's self paced. Some people move faster, some people move slower, but the point is progress, not speed. And so the last question is, what if I don't have anyone to send my safe video to? That's what the community is exist for. I'm a paid community where you get consulting with me, but and also my free community. Send it to me. Inbox me. Send me your video. Okay. Or post in the paid community where we'll be your safe person. Okay. That will only pump you up and not try to tear you down. So you don't have to worry about the trolls or anything. Okay. So I'm going to be building out the curriculum for the camera presence thing this week. The assignments still stand. Okay. So I want you to work on the assignments. Okay. If you're in the paid community, you actually get access to all 4 modules written out and some supplementary worksheets and things along those lines and checklists. Okay. And you get weekly contact with me and accessibility to me. If you're in the free community, you get the access to live streams, and I interact with my free community as well. It may not be to the depth that I can with my paid community because I do have a limited amount of time, but I do want people to get equal value no matter where they engage me. And even if you aren't in either one of my communities, use the video as your blueprint and get started recording. Don't miss the opportunity that exists out here on social media for you to maximize it for your business, product, or service or personal brand. Okay. Don't miss the opportunity. That's really what I'm at. You're not broken. You're not lazy. You just need a bridge. And that's what this is supposed to be, to get you started recording. For everyone, whether you're watching, whether you're in the free community, whether you're in the paid community, your assignment this week is, wherever you're engaging me, wherever you're viewing this, I want you to post, my biggest fear about recording is blank. That's it. Just so we can externalize that fear, get it outside of your body so that we can see it and look at it dispassionately. Okay. And watch how many people have the same fear that you have, because that's the other side of it. Okay. No one's going to try to fix you. We're just acknowledging that turning on the camera, talking to camera ain't easy. That's all we're trying to do. For the paid community, I'll extend this to whoever's watching if you're interested. I want you to sit with the lens this week. You pick 60 to 90 seconds for the next 7 days. Take 60 to 90 seconds out of your day. Turn the camera on. You don't record. You just sit there in front of it and breathe. And then once you get done, I want you to journal or log or notate how you feel. That's it. Trying to get your nervous system used to the concept of being on camera. That's it. That's all. So that's what this week's live stream is this week. All right. That's all I got, y'all. I do appreciate y'all's time. I wanted to get you comfortable with the concept of even turning a camera on. All right. And so hopefully that's what this video did for you. I do appreciate your time. If you are seeing this later on, I do appreciate you tuning in. Leave me some feedback. Still feel free to drop some of this stuff in the comments. Your comments of your impressions of what is your biggest fear about recording and how you feel after sitting with the lens for today. So that's all I got. I will talk to y'all later. Get started recording, y'all. Talk to y'all later.